I don't want to see you here in the same role in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're either going to be out because this isn't the right fit, or you're going to be up.
I think it's easier to learn something fresh than it is to retrain yourself to do something different. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited because I get to be here with my friend today, Nancy Nicklow, aka Huff Insurance. I feel like everybody already knows you, so I don't think you need introductions. I mean, can you just share with everybody all the boards and insurance you serve on? Because this woman is the saint of insurance in my mind.
Well, thank you, Kelly. I don't know about all that, but currently I sit as the Invest chairperson for the Big Eyes National Invest program, which provides financial literacy and curriculum to schools to be able to talk about insurance and to promote insurance careers to those young people who know nothing about this great industry that need to know about this great industry. So yes, the more the merrier, bring them all in. That's what I want. So I feel like I've been screaming from the rooftops for the last several years about young people coming into this industry. Finally,
Not as bad as you think.
That's right. That's right. The people are finally starting to listen to me. So yeah, so that's what I'm currently doing. I sit on the Big Eye National Board as the Maryland representative. And of course, I sit on the Maryland State Big Eye Board. I've taught for the Big Eye. I'm currently working on getting my CIC during all this, but life is good.
Life is good. Life is good. So why don't you tell a little bit about the agency, right? So you're in Maryland and Dad, I believe, started it. And so tell us a little bit about how you guys started and where you guys are today, just so people have a little context.
Well, sure. So my dad started it. Quick little story. He ran a restaurant in DC in an office building. It was the cool place all the teenagers went to for their ice cream and burgers in the 1950s, early 60s. Building got bought by a life insurance company. They were kicking out the restaurant, told him he was a good salesperson, should probably get a life license, and that's how it all started. So agency's been around since 1960. I've been working in the agency since I was 14 years old, doing filing claims.
Is it legal to work in an agency at 14 or?
Yeah, with a work permit, you were. So I was doing all the grunt work that nobody wanted to do and worked my way up, came aboard after college. My dad, in 2007, after I'd been in the agency about 13 years, died very quickly with pancreatic cancer. So we had 3 months. We were on a plan for me to take over, but not that fast.
Yeah.
So it was, get thrown into the wolves. And then Jerry, my husband, came into the agency in 2009. And then I'm fortunate now that I have my daughter working with us for the last 4 years. And I have my son working with us, who will be full-time when he graduates in May. Plus, we've got 8 other staff members. So, yeah, so we're building. We don't do nearly the life that we did when we started, but, the agency's definitely changed, but hopefully for the best.
I love it. And I know you're kind of an avid watcher of our content, and we were just catching up for a few minutes. So you just did your agency's retreat, right? Which is last year was pajama themed, everybody. In case you're looking for ideas. This year was Western themed. So, I've always admired you because I think you have such a belief in educating your team and even your own education, everything you're going on doing CIC and serving in all these boards. Sort of, maybe share a little bit about what your approach is to training your team and getting and keeping them kind of in the loop, because I don't know, I see a lot of agencies are just everyone's so busy, we can't do it. But there's a cost to that too, I think.
Yeah, and that's, when my dad ran the agency, that was the belief, right? My dad was, we always said the salesman that could sell ice to an Eskimo. And so he just believed that came naturally to people, right? You're a salesperson, you know what to do. I don't need to teach you. Nobody taught me. Why do I need to teach you? I am not that salesperson, right? I come from making sales through education and, taking the time. I always tell everybody if I wasn't in insurance, I'd be a teacher. I mean, that's just where I gravitate to. And so for the team, especially when I first took over, you know, I was like, well, they don't know things and I don't know things, so we all got to learn, right?
Annoying.
So, we threw ourselves into some sales training that was like hardcore sales training.
Yeah.
And account managers and customer service reps seem to be like, I'm not a salesperson, no, go away.
Yeah.
And so when we found you, Kelly, you were approachable to the team. Like they felt like they could ask you questions and that they weren't going to be looked down upon, or they felt that when we had you in a couple of times, like they could relate to you, and you got them to promise to do things that I would have never, ever gotten them to promise to do. Right.
It's in the moment, Nancy. It's in the moment.
So your training seems to be more relatable. And even when you came and presented for the Big I Maryland, we still brought one of our younger team members with us because we wanted them to hear it. We wanted them to see you live. And they even made the comment, I like Kelly on video, but I really like her live better.
Well, I can only be in one place at one time. So video is helpful. But I think it's great the way that you structure it. Like it's just a core belief in your agency. And, like you said earlier with Invest, we need to get new people into this wonderful industry. And I tell people, I'm like, it gave me it gave me the gift of everything that I have. I also feel like I want to tell as many people, don't think about insurance, think about teaching, think about helping people, think about protecting what people work hard for. Why does a financial planner sound sexier than insurance agent? It's not. And, I think there's some apprehension in the industry of hiring green people because then we have to train them. Right. And I understand that because some agencies do need a licensed person, they're in desperation mode. But, maybe you can share a little bit about your philosophy, because I think we probably have a little same one where sometimes it's easier to build a person than to untrain maybe habits that don't fit where your agency is at.
Well, and that's been it. I mean, we've looked and looked and looked for account managers and things like that. And the ones that are out there for a reason, right? All the good ones.
They're locked out.
They're locked in, right? And I mean, we had to do some of that locking in with some of our team members as well, especially since COVID.
Yeah.
And the way that, raises and things were happening and inflation was happening. We, had to take some strong increases on salaries and things like that to get by. But every time we go out to the marketplace and hire somebody who is experienced, it's not like they're plug and play, right? There's still a whole lot of training that needs to happen. And so we've taken two of our last receptionist positions and we have moved them up. They've got them licensed. We've moved them up. Haley's been with us now 2 years licensed, 3 years not licensed, or a year not licensed. And then Caitlin has only been with us 7 months, and then we got her license, and now she's moving up into personal lines. And so we let them know that there's a career path. I tell everybody when we hire them in that director of first impressions role, I don't want to see you here in the same role in 3 years.
Yeah.
You're either going to be out because this isn't the right fit, or you're going to be up, right? This is what's going to happen. This is a jumping off point. This isn't the end goal. And so we just really find that, training somebody internally, yes, it takes time, but there's also a lot of reward from it to see somebody grow and to blossom, and somebody who never even thought of insurance as their career path and then all of a sudden just got dumped into it and then is like, wow, wow, this is really cool. You know, I want to
Yeah.
be here.
Like the second they look at their own policy and they start making adjustments, you're like, you're getting it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're like, I can't believe I am mortified what I had for insurance. And it's
I
like,
know.
yeah, but that's how other people are living their lives because they just didn't, that person didn't know any different. And now they do. And they can give that gift to other people. And I think it's so interesting because, the instinct in insurance, hire someone licensed. But I know your agency pretty well. Like you guys have phenomenal procedure manual. Like I know Nancy talks about the boards, but she's also very active in the Epic community for Applied Net too. So like, just because someone knows insurance, then they'd have to come in and use your system, your carriers, present the quotes the way that you would like them to. I've said this a million times. I don't love it, but I think it's easier to learn something like fresh than it is to retrain yourself to do something different.
Right. Right. I mean, it's hard to break habits, right? Because you're not even thinking about it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You're just in go mode and, right or wrong, it's in go mode. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we do the retreat, right?
Yeah.
To get everybody away from their desk, to get everybody to really look at, here's what you're doing in this process from 1 to 5. Is this really make the most sense? Is there technology that we could use in that process? Is there different people that we could use in that process besides your top account manager? And that's the point of it, because when you're in the inertia, you're just doing, right? First I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. And you're not stopping and saying, wait a minute, is this really the best way we could get this accomplished?
I know it is so true. And I think sometimes when people have been doing something for so long and they come to a new agency, we see like, well, it works fine with the other one. Why is it it's almost like they feel like they were doing it wrong, or like and I'm like, there's no right or wrong. Just Wendy's makes cheeseburgers one way, McDonald's makes them another way. You can't go to Wendy's and do it the same way at McDonald's, right? Like there's sort of the brand standards out there. So I'm just curious, like I know you listen to our blogs and podcasts, but how do you integrate some of the stuff we just have on our website, right? And open to the public for anybody? Like, what's your strategy in looking at our content?
So we're subscribed to the school. So normally I buy, because we are a smaller agency, I tend to buy the learning module outright, because then as we hire new people, I still have it and I can't be like, let's replay it. We use it once a month in our sales meetings. 1 month is either on coverage or it's on salesmanship. And so sometimes I'll pull, even if it's just like one little, scene from the whole thing, I'll pull that. And then, I'll use it to just reiterate, because sometimes I can say it over and over and over again, but it's Nancy saying it. But then when they see Kelly or Steven or Bobby on the screen saying it, all of a sudden it's like this aha moment, and like, the stars and the skies open up.
It probably also happened with your kids, right? Like somebody else would say something and it was like, I've said that to you for so long. I don't understand. Exactly. It's nothing special. I like to say, I'm just the cool aunt. Like, I'm just the cool aunt. That's it.
So I would, we'll use it all the time. I used a lot of it in the retreat yesterday. We've been doing account reviews for several years, with the hardening of the market. Sometimes some of our account managers were presenting a little bit with their pocketbook, like the renewal already went up $600. I wouldn't be able to afford an umbrella, so I'm going to, not think that you can afford an umbrella, right? So we had to kind of talk about that a little bit. So we used some of the account review stuff. I've used the cell phone, because that this cell phone thing. We go up.
I think everybody uses. For those of you who don't know, I did a video. I can't remember if it was a podcast or video, but I talked all about how we shouldn't have our cell phones at our desk, because if you went to your kid's school and saw the teacher texting, you would lose your shiz on this teacher and the principal. But we protect what people work hard for, right? And and then it's like, I can't get anything done. But you're like, well, if you stop doing this, you could focus.
And it's funny, like when we're meeting goals, I'm lax about it.
100%.
We're not meeting goals.
100%.
I become a hard nose about it again, right?
And I have dreams of throwing my cell phone into the ocean. Like, I want to be like, get rid of it and be free. Like, someday when I retire, I'm going to go. I respect the flip phone people now. Like, I never did before, but I can completely understand. Like, I will just call it 911 if I'm stuck on the side of the road, and that's it.
Well, Jerry keeps saying that everybody's too busy looking down at the world. Everybody sees the world from this angle.
And it's just, like, what's so important in there? It's never anything important. It's my husband asking what's for dinner. Like, it's not that critical. Like, you won't starve, honey. You'll be
well, the new thing was the earbuds. All of our younger team members wanted to have their earbuds in so that they could listen to their music or their podcast or their video, whatever that they had on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I go into my doctor's office and he's got an earbud in, whether there's something playing or not, I'm not going to go back to that doctor because I'm going to think he's not paying attention to me.
Or there's a whole thing about people watching like Netflix at work, right? And one, you have to be careful because Netflix doesn't always have like PG rated things that pop up on screens, and that's not appropriate for the workplace. And then two, your bandwidth is going to go terrible, right? Like no one's going to be able to do anything. And then, we had agencies that were trying to call people back in the office and they're like, but I have to put pants on and I can't watch Netflix at lunch. I'm like, no one says you can't watch Netflix at lunch. You just can't do it at your desk. And the pants thing, I can't help you with. You do have to go to the store. Like you can't go Pooh Bear it. Like you have to put pants on.
Right.
So it's interesting to me because I think we probably should have seen like the standards and like things have gotten so much more lax of just certain like professionalism, certain like, ideas and thoughts. Like we're just very much more a fluid society of like, oh, if I come home in an 8:05, but I start at 8 and I stay till 5:05, it's okay. It's like, well, kind of, but like the office opens at 8. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting thing of how things have just gotten. I think we've all lowered our standards because we were in COVID and then a hard market and people were just trying to survive, not really thrive. And I'm optimistic in 2025, like we're going to start getting back into like, okay, let's run the show now and let's kick butt and take names. But it's been 6 years of just really hard times.
Yeah.
So I think I just appreciate you, Nancy, appreciate everything you do for the industry. And I think it's so great what you guys are building. You forgot to mention the office mascot dog too.
Yes, Sport. Yeah, there's some pictures on Facebook from our retreat yesterday because we break up into different rooms of my house for the retreat. And so Allie's sitting on the sofa and the dog's sitting next to her, like leaning in, looking at her computer as she's typing notes. Like he was all into it.
Yeah, he was trying to participate,
That's right.
He wants to work hard for the Tritos. He's got it. And the last question I have to ask you, Nancy, before I let you go is how many Christmas trees will go up at the Niccolo household this year?
Usually it's like around 26. I probably have about 15 up right now.
So is it like, how long does this whole production? Because I always look at pictures. I'm super jealous, by the way. But I'm like, how long does this production take to get everything up and running?
So I normally start the first weekend in November, but we were away a weekend.
So we're delayed.
A little behind, and we're going away for Thanksgiving. So I'm even going to be more behind. It's really not that bad. It's just we have a 13-foot Christmas tree, and all of the ornaments are Hallmark ornaments in the boxes.
Oh, wow.
So it takes forever for that tree. That tree holds about 900 ornaments by the time that we're done.
Oh my goodness. This is just, but it's so pretty when I see pictures on social media. I do cyber stalk you during the holidays to see. I think I've shown my husband a couple times, be like, this is where we need to be in our lives. Like, why is there less Christmas in our life today? But I have
when they came to the retreat yesterday, some of the newer people were like, oh, your house is really pretty. It's all decorated for Christmas. And some of the OGs were like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you come back for their Christmas party. And it's like Hallmark threw up around here.
Hey, if it gives you joy, go with it, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. It brings back memories, a lot of the ornaments I inherited from my mom. And so to see ornaments that are on the tree now that were on the tree when I was a kid.
The question is, will Allie live up to the tradition? That is the
No,
question.
no, they have no interest. I actually probably have more hope with Dalton than I will with Allie.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for all you do for the industry and being great supporters of us. And you know how to find me if you ever need anything. But guys, check out this agency, Maryland. They're amazing. So maybe if you're looking to take another step in your career, reach out to the lovely Miss Nancy Nicklow, and she can help talk to you a little bit. Or if you're interested in the Invest program, I think that's a little bit, maybe it's not as new as I think, but I think it's just taking up some more steam. Is that right?
Yes, it's definitely nationalinvestprogram.org is the website, and it is a great resource, even for agents who need to go into a school and give a career day presentation and stuff. They've got all the resources already done for you. They've got slides and things like that. You can just throw your logo on it and be done. So all kinds of stuff. And if you want to hire an intern, the one that we have this year is awesome. So it gives you like what kind of things can they do and how can they help grow your agency. So yeah.
Yeah, just some little tools out there. So
Yeah.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, Nancy. We appreciate you. And for anybody else that's interested, let us know. But we'll let Nancy go back to running the world. How does that sound?
All right, Kelly, nice to see you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you and your team.